Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Copy Corner with your host. I'm Terry Schilling.
And I'm Dan Marzullo.
Yes, welcome. This is our little corner of the internet where we like to share copywriting and content writing tips to help elevate and grow your business. And today we want to talk about content creation, Dan. More specifically, how to know what type of content to create for your audience is what we want to talk about today. So go ahead and get this started, Dan.
Sure thing. So first step I always think is where is your audience hanging out, right? You have to be creating content that's native for that channel. So so figure out where they hang out, right? Do some research, use some different awesome tools online, whatever it is. Figure out where your customers, leads, all of them are hanging out, right? If it's maybe they're huge on Facebook groups or maybe they're big on LinkedIn. And then you kind of know, okay, here's where they are. Now we're going to create content for these platforms, right? Maybe it's an email newsletter community that's huge and they've got all this engagement. Start creating email content for that audience. So I think that's the first step is like, well, where are they and what kind of content are they used to consuming that resonates with them most, right? If you're, just as an example, say you're a podcaster and you just hate reading, don't create blog posts for podcasters, right? So, so that's kind of my best tip right there is that's where it all starts. If you can figure that out, it makes it a lot easier. You're not just sitting around like, well, should I create, Instagram posts or blog posts? It's what are they consuming that the people you're trying to speak to and where are they hanging out and make the content that works for them where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Like establish who your audience is, your ideal customer avatar. And like you said, Dan, find out where they hang out. Like you brought up a good point. Like if podcasters don't like reading things, it's like, well, then give them either audio clips or start a YouTube channel, right? And show like some of your equipment, show some of the other tips that you want to share. Facebook groups, do live videos, do interviews, get people to talk in those groups, right? It's more exclusive there. Twitter is big for conversations back and forth in real time. So start asking questions like within your niche, right? Like what is your biggest challenge with copywriting? What are some of your biggest challenges with personal branding? It's like, how many have you seen XYZ? Just start conversations, get people talking and start listening to them. They're going to give you some pain points and things that they struggle with. And then you can start creating some more content for them. And you can repurpose it too. We're doing this podcast right now. We can create transcripts, create blog posts, show little clips on Instagram of it as well. And then, of course, we have the big audio format where people can listen to it on the podcast, or they can watch it on YouTube. It's big to just repurpose it as well. You can create little tidbits of each section here and post on Twitter, put stuff on LinkedIn. But yeah, Dan, I think it's super important to know exactly where you're hanging out and kind of establish the content. How people consume it, like what's the context, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
Yeah. And there's another thing I like to do as far as just like knowing what your audience is looking for is going on even job sites or sites like Reddit. And again, going back to listening to, what people are struggling with. But if you go to job sites like Indeed or Upwork and you see like what potential prospects are looking for, like I need help writing an email drip campaign. I need help writing a website. I need help designing a website. I need a UX developer. Read the description and kind of what their solution is that they're looking for. Usually they're giving you these benefits like we want copy that's going to help us achieve XYZ, right? And then look at that and then you can start using that in your own marketing, using that around your content of how it's like create a lead magnet. Like here, get my top 10 email subject lines to help increase your conversions by 50%, because that's what somebody's looking for an example, right? Just always as like a marketer, just keep your ear open, right? Or keep your ear open. I don't know, what is it? Like keep your ear to the ground? What's the metaphor? What's the metaphor? The freaking metaphor I'm trying to use. You guys understand.
Right.
But just like, be curious really is like the grand scheme of things and just understand how you can help people because people are always talking about it. I think you can get tons of ideas for content creation there too.
Oh yeah. And I think, what you said too about kind of going into that with the job descriptions, it's all about research. I think that's, underutilized. It's like research what these people want to learn about, what they're studying, what they're searching for. Because a lot of times, if you just kind of say, oh, cool, we're going to create this type of content, and you just assume that this is their pain point or this is their problem, you start putting all that out there, but it's not really resonating with them. Maybe, A wasn't their problem, but B was, and you didn't know that because you didn't take the time to figure out what really mattered most to that customer and what their pain points were. So I like how you touched on that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't overlook just flat out being entertaining in some way, just having some type of form of entertainment. And I think you can easily mix in education and entertainment, with that aspect. Like look at TikTok, how people do that, in Instagram Reels. People have some fun on LinkedIn. But a lot of times it's just creating content that gets people talking and engaging, where like it's a big thing of people getting to know you so they can ultimately like you and trust you down the road too.
Absolutely. That's true. It's not always all engage or education. Got to mix some fun in there.
Right. And honestly, like you brought up newsletter communities, and like newsletters seem to be having a nice little comeback right now. Like there's Substack and other sites like that, but people are starting their own newsletters. So that's how a lot of people are consuming content. Like email is such a great channel, to promote your services and to reach out to your audience. So take advantage of that too. Create a lead magnet to start building your email list.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one.
Yeah, I know you're working on that currently, Dan, with a couple projects. I'm growing my email list. It's really fun, and it's just a great way to create exclusive content too.
Yeah, absolutely, Terry.
Yeah. Well, all right, everyone. Well, that's really what we had to share with how to know what type of content to create for your audience. We kind of packed a lot of that here in just over 6 minutes, Dan. Anything else that we think we missed?
Nah, I think we nailed it. We got it all in under 7 minutes.
Yeah, I guess we should end it now then. Well, I mean, I don't have much to say either. So thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of the Copy Corner. We hope you all are having a great week. Love what you do. Proceed with passion. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.